Hello. In this lesson, I just want to show you a bunch of interesting chord voicings to kind of break you free from basic bar chords or the standard grips that you would use. So I'm going to use combos to teach you all kinds of different inversions and different voicings that you can use. This is assuming that you have your basic open chords that you should know, right? These kind of ones, and maybe even after you know like open seventh chord shapes, even after you know your kind of basic 5 and 6 string bar chord voicings, right? Maybe even after you know all your seventh chords, and maybe even after you know, like if you're C major 7, after some of these basic kind of 4 string voicings, right? Or even like these. Now, if you don't know these already, I would recommend maybe buying my book, Guitar in Theory and Practice, and learn those, or get yourself an instructor, because those are the real basic chords. So if you could kind of get past those, where you have major, minor, diminished, augmented, major 7, minor 7, dominant 7, half diminished, diminished 7, major 7, sharp 5, and minor major 7, learn those and learn the chord scale or the basic division of diatonic triads, and which chords work in key. Try to learn that, right? So like C major scale would have all of those chords. So for these chords I show you, I'd like you to try to do that chord scale with these different voicings. But it's a pretty simple concept. Instead of just doing like C major, like 1 3 5, 3 5 1, 5 1 3, you should probably know that too, and know that on different strings, these basic triad shapes. Once you have that down, and maybe you could look at like this whole kind of caged system here if you wanted to. But once you have that kind of basic info, I would work on this kind of stuff here. So what this is I'm going to go through every combination that I can. I use combos a lot, probably from going to school or studying poker a lot. So what I'm going to do is take every combination of 1 3 5 and create a voicing for that. And I'll also give an example of maybe a major 7, 1 3 5 7. So I'm going to just move all those numbers and notes around. So if I have C, E, G, then I'll try C, G, E, and then I'll try E, C, G, and E, G, C, and G, C, E, and G, E, C. And we look at what those fingerings look like. I'll do that for C major and for C major 7. I recommend also going through chord progressions and using these as arpeggios and chords. I'm not saying you're going to turn into Holdsworth or Eric Johnson or Ted Green right away from this, but maybe you could steal 1 or 2 good voicings to use in your own playing. So let's get right to it then, if we could. So say we're doing a C major, we could do 1 3 5, and we should try this sometimes starting on different strings and arrange the notes in many different orders, because the fact that the guitar is tuned weird, sometimes it's annoying, but in this case it could be very helpful for us, because a fingering that might be impossible in one spot could be very helpful in another. If you could use an open string, use an open string. Sometimes I'll use hybrid picking, a pick and finger. Sometimes I'll strum. Sometimes I'll just do fingerstyle. Sometimes I'll have to do a two-handed trick or use a harmonic, but most of the time you won't have to. So if we did 1 3 5, we would have that, right? Now if I did 1 5 3, the voicing is, right? It would look like that, right? So instead of just going, sometimes that sounds, especially with distortion, it sounds like too much, but if I did this, that might sound better. Like I use that in my song D-Pop. So you see, I'll find these voicings I like, and then I try to write something with them. So that was 1 5 3. And like I said, try to learn your chord scales with all these. D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished. And figure out a chord progression, like maybe 1 3 4 5. But let me get on with it. There'll be quite a few of these here. So that were the combos starting with 1. Now if we go to the combos starting with 3, instead of starting with a C, I'll start with the E note, and I'll go E, C, G, or E, G, C. We'll call this the first inversion since we're starting with the third. So that'll give us a E, a G, and a E, a C, and a G. All right, I could do it like this with that kind of thing. I could do it like this, or like I said, learn to mute behind it. So but yeah, I won't do that many progressions, or else this will take forever. I don't want this to be an hour-long lesson. So this is 3, 1, 5. So then we could do 3, 5, 1. So would be something along those lines. And now if we start with 5, we'll have 5, 1, 3. All right, let me try that. Know that one there. And then we also have 5, 3, 1. All right, so those were all your combos for your triads, the 3-note chords. Let's do all the combos for a C major 7 chord, but I recommend trying it for all those other qualities of chords that I mentioned and being able to do various chord progressions, 1, 4, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1, 6, 4, 5, 2, 5, 1, just up and down chord scales in major keys, minor keys, harmonic, melodic minor keys. Again, I could also, for those 3-note voicings, I could add another note on top. Maybe I'll do C, E, G, and another C, or another E, or another G. But that would be too involved too. I just want you to get this concept down. So instead of just 1, 3, 5, 7, see how that would work out? That's and if I tried that on this string, and we tried different octaves too, because it might be easier, and you can use open strings. That would be 1, 3, 5, 7. Now we'll go 1, 3, 7, 5. 1, 3, 7, and then 5's on the high either. Got me? 1, 3, 7, 5. And then we could go 1, 5, 3, 7. Like that, or 1, 5, 3, 7. And then we could do 1, 5, 7, 3. Just brings us to this. Then we have 1, 7, 3, 5. Same as this voicing. That was 1, 7, 3, 5. Now we'll have 1, 7, 5, 3, which would go like so. 1, 7, 5, 3. And maybe I might want to move that G note to here, and then I can maybe bar. Right? A lot of different ways to move the notes around. You want to explore that. So that was 1, 7, 5, 3. Now we could move on to all the inversions that start with 3. So that will be 3, 1, 5, 7. So we find those notes. 3, and then 1, and then 5, and then 7. And that gives us this. On this string, it would be 3, 1, 5, 7. 3, 1, 5, 7. And then we could go 3, 1, 7, 5. 3, 1, 7, 5. 1 7 5. Then we could go 3 5 1 7. So that'll give us 3 5, and then 3 5 1 and 7. Skipping the B string now. 3 5 1 7. So then we have 3 5 7 1. 3 5 7 1. So maybe I'll move it over on this string here. 3 5 7 1. See, that's a little tricky, but it's pretty. But then, you know, maybe we'll move that to another string. And if we tried to do that here, 3 5 1, 3 5 7 1. Right, that would be really tough. Sometimes I use my thumb. Sometimes I'll show you in another voicing or two another way of doing it. Then we have 3 7 1 5, so that would be, and then 3 7 5 1, which will go. That's 3 7 5 1. And we'll go to the ones with the 5, so we'll go 5 1 3 7, 5 1 3 7, and that might be easier to go there. 5 1 7 3. Here's 5 1. There's 7 3. 5 1 7 3. 5 3 1 7. 5 3 1 7, and then we have 5 3 7 1. That's actually easier. 5 3 7 1, and then we'll have 5 7 1 3. 5 7 1 3. That makes it easier. 5 7 1 3. That's 5 7 1 3, and then we have 5 7 3 1. So here's 5 7, and then the 3 is the E, and then the C. That's 5 7 3 1. So then we have all of the voicings that start with 7. So that would be 7 1 3 5. So that'd be maybe 7 1 3, and then 5. Now that one's kind of nasty. It's 14 on the A, and then 10 on the D, 9 on the G, and 8 on the B. Right. Well, maybe I'll do another. And again, a lot of times, if I wanted to, I might just hold one of the notes with my right hand and then use my pinky or third finger to strum it. Or I kind of like to grip the neck underneath it here and then use my thumb. That's sometimes a nice cheater's way to do it as well. I'll show you maybe a way with a harmonic here in another one of these maybe. But so that was 7 1 3 5. So now we could go 7 1 5 3. So here's 7 1. There's your 5, and then 3 maybe up there. That's nice. 7 1 5 3. So now we'll go 7 3 1 5. So that goes 7 3 1 5. And a lot of times, if you can do it without barring, that's sometimes better, tone-wise. So that's 7 3 1 5. 7 3 1 5. Now we have 7 3 5 1. So 7 3 5 1. Try it on another string. 7 3 5 1. A little easier. So it's good to try it on different strings. That was 7, 3, 5, 1. Now we have 7, 5, 1, 3. 7, 5, 1, 3. Easy enough. 7, 5, 1, 3. And then we have 7, 5, 3, 1. 7, 5, 3, 1. So that kind of gives you all those combos. Let me show you maybe another way I might do one that was really tough really fast before we go. Here, if we did this one, where it's the 14th fret for the B note, and then C on the 10th fret, E on the 9th fret, and G on the 8th fret. So that's the 7, 1, 3, 5, simple enough. If that was too hard, and I didn't want to use the two-handed technique, what I could do is I'll take whatever that note is there. I could do it with another note too, but then I'll take that note an octave lower, and then I'll use a harmonic, a 12th fret harmonic, and so I could do that and strum together. See that? Or maybe. And that's another way. If you can't reach a note, find that note an octave lower and play a 12th fret harmonic so it makes it the right note, and then find some sort of way to strum the rest of those notes. So pretty simple concept. I have another concept, another lesson where I take all 4 fingers and give you all the combos of those, and then all the combos of using three different fingers to be able to get your left hand dexterity down more. I'll link to that video as well. Hopefully I didn't forget any of the combos here, and just trying to get you past your basic open chords and bar chords and your basic inversions through your neck. I only did major 7 and a major triad, so try all the other voicings, try all the other adds. You can do it with an add 2 or 4 or 6 chord and figure out how to kind of juggle all the notes around. Hopefully this lesson was able to give you some sort of benefit. Thank you.
Hello, I am Kevin M. Buck, and I'd like to invite you to my online guitar course. If you go to usaguitarlessons.com and you click on KMB Online Guitar Academy, here you will find my course, and what it is a complete and comprehensive approach to playing guitar. I've been teaching guitar for 36 years here in Chicago land area, and I'm giving away all of my tricks, whether it's licks and sweeping and tapping and chicken picking, or whether it's theory ideas. I make it all very, very simplistic for you, whether you play blues, jazz, country, rock and roll, heavy metal. It'll work for all of those genres. So you go into the course, and what you'll find is the curriculum, it's set up a lot like a college course would be. I have all kinds of different modules that'll teach you everything you need to know, whether it's basic stuff to get you started, or just all the things you really would need to learn. All the chords you need to learn in order, and all the scales you need to learn, all the arpeggios you need to learn, all the different techniques and theory and runs and licks, and new material is added all the time. Let me show you one of these modules. Say you wanted to learn diatonic 7th arpeggios. So we go, and to learn our 7th arpeggios, it's not just a tab of teaching you, it's me in a video explaining how to do it, and I give you examples that are actually usable. See, in time, and it makes it very, very easy to learn. And I also have PDFs for you to learn. You could learn on your phone, or you can download them, or you could print them out if you'd like. And you see there will be several ones for each module. And I also have the words to explain it. So if you just go to, again, usaguitarlessons.com, you'll see it's $9.99 a month. Feel free to cancel anytime. It's a complete comprehensive approach, giving all of my tricks away. Check it out, usaguitarlessons.com.